Hello. It's been a long time since I've recorded a video. Actually, this is the first video that I've recorded in 2020. I'm excited. I'm actually kind of nervous because my dad's home and I'm really embarrassed to be talking to a camera. This video is going to be about my New Year's resolutions for 2021. I want to keep myself accountable. And also, I turned my LED lights green because it's supposed to be like, I guess, kind of a happy color. So I made this little paper for my New Year's resolutions. I kind of decorated it and it's cute. And I have 12 years resolutions, one for each month, but they're not goals that I'm gonna achieve monthly. They're just like overall goals that I want to like say that I achieved by the end of the year. I'm not gonna be super strict on these, but they're things that seem plausible for me at the moment. So my first resolution for the year is to avoid getting COVID because I'm like scared as shit to get sick. I'm scared as shit of getting sick, so I want to kind of avoid the thing as much as I can, basically. My mom got sick. My mom got COVID like during summer, and it was like really hard for her. Her hair falls out right now because she's recovering, so her hair falls out. I don't want my hair to fall out. I don't want to get COVID, so I'm regularly going out of the house because I have school appointments that I have to go through and have work stuff that I have to do. So I do regularly go out of the house, like every 2 weeks I go out of the house because I have to. I don't know, it's gonna be a tough year. The good thing is that with vaccination going on this year, it's going to be a lot easier. And also I am going to be going out a lot this year, especially because I'm also going to be in college and I don't think I really want to like study here. There's a cafe and bookstore very close to my house, so I'll probably go there a lot. It's a fear of mine of getting sick because I like getting sick, but I like the common cold because I don't know why, but I just like feeling weak. But I like what the common cold makes me feel. I don't particularly want to deal with with side effects of COVID. If I can get vaccinated, I will, but I'm not sure I'll get vaccinated because, you know, the vaccines that are coming into this country, I think most are only enough for half the population. Waiting for my vaccination period, which is at the end of this year, maybe the beginning of next year. My second year's resolution is to work on getting fit, work on getting abs. I'm currently doing that with the clothing 2-week ab shred. I'm on my 5th day, so today's my rest day, but I'm not gonna rest day because I haven't really been eating the cleanest. So I am going to do like the first day workouts, so just like the full body fat burn workout and the main ab workout. I'm just gonna do those 2 today, and I'm gonna do them at night because I just feel too lazy to do them in the morning, and so that I can shower tonight. I do like consistently do some cardio almost every day. Like I like dancing, and yeah, I want to work on getting fit because I think this is my year. This is where I'm going to have my abs. Gonna have like, I just bought a sports bra. I bought a Nike sports bra, like a one. This is the only sports bra that I have. I look so good in it, so I'm gonna work consistently on getting in shape, especially because of my health, because I spend like 10 hours sitting down either on my computer or on my bed. Just it's really bad, and I really have to work on getting more active. Since I am being more active, I am not procrastinating on getting my dog out on walks because I definitely do that, and I like getting him out in the morning, and when I procrastinate get him on a walk, I have to do it at night even though like it's really freezing cold. I'm feeling like my abs getting stronger. I feel the muscle underneath the fat, and that's amazing. Like you don't see it because I'm sitting down, but I don't really want to go to the gym because that's like, I think it's kind of gross. So yeah, I'm working out from home. My 3rd year's resolution is to finish high school and enter college, and I want to major in economics and minor in philosophy and literature. This year, if I can, around April, I'm gonna finish high school because the homeschooling program allows me to do that. If I were to continue school normally and go to like the regular high school that I was going to prior to this, I would have graduated when I was like 19, and I don't really want that because I got pushed back a year, not because I repeated a year. Most private schools over here do a US program in which the elementary school level finishes at a 7th grade. I did a 7th grade, and over here the elementary school level is only 6 grades. So normally people just graduate regularly, like at 18, but since I was in private school when I was in elementary school, I was going to graduate when I was 19, and most of my class was also, like, half of the class that I was with was going to graduate at 19 and the other half was going to graduate at 18. I'm really happy and I am really eager to study college. I don't know, I've just always wanted to be this grown up. There's like a really weird middle ground where there's like teenage years, like late teenage years, and young adulthood. I've always wanted to be in this like middle ground. I always like to feel like weird. So yeah, I am turning 18 this year. I'm getting my ID appointment this month, and I don't know, I'm just really excited. I am excited for this new chapter of my life, even though it's probably just going to be like life TM. What I want to study is economics, because I thought that economics was like something with numbers, and I'm not really good at math. I'm like horrible at math. I get it done and that's it. I'm studying chemistry for my chemistry test next week. Man, I hated chemistry. It was one of my I hated the subject because of the teacher that I had in middle school, but chemistry is not my thing. The maths are not my thing either. Physics is kind of there. I think I had physics. Do I have physics? I think on physics I had like a 9 or an 8 out of 10. So yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I want to study economics, which is basically the study of economics and of economic models. So there's Marxism, there's socialism, there's capitalism, really invested in sociological studies. So I think that economics would be a good major for me, and I also want to minor in philosophy and literature because I really like literature. It is definitely one of my favorite things to read and to research about the history of profound writing and how writing has evolved, and how philosophy and how certain world events just influence the kind of writing that we have. It's something that we see every single day, you know, in contemporary fiction. It's how we see the world evolving and writing evolving, especially. Instead of seeing a lot of bestsellers with prominent white characters, we're getting a lot of bestsellers with characters of color or non-binary characters or characters of different sexualities. And I think that's great. There's a kind of growth in that, and I really want to study that also in the past. There's this book I'm reading right now, The Bonfire of the Vanities, that the book was considered a prophet of sorts because the guy he wanted to make this novel as realistic as possible. It was going to be like a realistic fiction kind of book, and it did a lot of commentary on racism. He did a lot of research, and then when he published this book, he was publishing it as serials, so things that were scheduled to come out like a year later were actually happening in the news like right now. So the book was considered like a prophet because it was predicting events, but it's just that he did his studies and then predicted how society would react accordingly. So my dad's gone finally, so I'm gonna be able to talk a little louder. I'm sorry I wasn't able to talk a little louder. So the next thing is that I really want to work on my social media presence. A lot of these New Year's resolutions that I have here, and I mean a lot because there's just like 3 of them, are focused on me being more social with people because I'm a really introverted person. Last year I was literally isolated. I talked to my friends every once in a while, but I mean I'm not a person who needs other people. I'm not a person who avidly seeks social contact because I feel like I'm really talkative with some people, with people that I feel really confident with. I am, but I just don't actively seek that. Sometimes I will ask for help. I'm not a person who talks to people a lot. My parents are somehow worried that I'm a little bit of a hermit because I just don't talk to people. It's really weird. I've never been a person who has a lot of friends. Like, I'm a person who likes to like hang out in the background and observe everybody else and judge everybody else based on how they interact with other people and maybe how they interact with me sometimes, but I've always been that kind of quiet girl in the background. I love to listen and I love to observe. Sometimes I stare because I'm just too absorbed in like my own thoughts on situations. That's why I've never been a fan of going to school, because I just never been a fan of just people in general. I don't like people. People are so unpredictable, but the fact that I don't know how to communicate with people in a way that I know that they will react positively to the way that I tell them stuff. I have to talk to people. I have to ask for permission to do certain things. I have to ask how my exams are doing. things by myself, and it's been such a huge step for me towards independence because I've always relied for other people to ask for me. Like even in school school was a little more of a controlled environment for me because I work very, very well with how adults want you to react, but I really want to grow my social media presence. I want to be part of a community. I've never really been able to be a part of the community, so I just decided, why not create my own community? My next New Year's resolution is I have a clothing store. I have a secondhand clothing store. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. Fast fashion is a big problem here, so I like being able to provide that option, and I kind of want to grow by 200% on the profit that I now gain from that during this year, because last year I barely even sold anything because of quarantine and because I couldn't like buy new stuff. I started my business in September or October last year. Not last year, like 2020 and 2019. So I've been having this account for like longer than a year. I grew a lot during my first 5 months. Yeah, that's something that I really want to get to, because I also since I'm going to be going into college, I realized that maybe I should also sell clothing to the people in college, because it'll be cool. It'll be fun. Okay, so my next New Year's resolution actually has to go with me learning languages. So I want to learn enough Korean for me to be on intermediate, and I want to go back to learning French, as well as going into like as well as dwelling into the German language. So first things first. I learned enough Korean for me to be a beginner, and I can understand a lot. I know the basic sentence structure. I know a lot of vocabulary. I know the numbers, the Sino-Korean numbers, the natural numbers, and I know how to read Hangul. And I've been on and off studying Korean for like 3 years, ever since I got into K-pop. 3 years ago, I bought the entire living language set, and I've also been learning from Talk to Me in Korean. I've been learning from several parts of the internet as well. So yeah, I want to learn enough Korean to be an intermediate. I also want to go back to French because I am fluent in French. Supposedly, I haven't practiced my French in like 2 years. I did 3 years of French study, and I can speak a lot of French. I can speak it with my normal accent. I'm not able to do my deep R, so I just roll them as I would in Spanish. But I can understand most French. I can also formulate pretty complicated sentences in French. I can hold a regular conversation. It's really rusty though, so I want to go back to that by watching movies in French. I want to watch content in French. I want to talk to people. I also want to get into German, to the German language, because this is going to all help me to do my master's degree. And besides, German is something that I wanted to learn because I always wanted to go live in Austria, and Austria speaks a variation of German, so I do want to learn like the basic German, and so that I can go and live in Austria, because I always wanted to study there. And I always wanted to be living in Salzburg. It's a place that I visited when I went on a school trip, and I just fell in love with the place. I really want to live there for like a portion of my life. My 7th New Year's resolution is to go outside more because I do spend a lot of my time indoors. I spend a lot of my time studying indoors, watching movies indoors, TV shows, or just watching YouTube. Just stuff that before I wrote my New Year's resolution thing. Like one day I was just walking around the neighborhood for like an hour or something, and I felt so good. I felt really tired because it was like prime sun time. And it was because my parents were not home, and I was just, I don't know, every time that I'm alone, I feel like I can do whatever I want, and that's very nice. I also want the sun to hit me a lot more. Maybe being outdoors is just reading in my brother's balcony, or I don't know, just walking, stepping outside and just letting the sun graze me over, or just walking with the dog for like 10 minutes, or playing with the next door neighbor's cats. They won't play with me, but just like observing them, trying to get closer to pet them because they won't let me pet them. I kind of have that craving of like the sun on my skin, and I have to buy sunblock because my skin is really sensitive. Okay, my 8th one has to do with style. So I want to create a wardrobe. I want to create a style with thrifted clothes, and I also want to learn to alter clothes by myself because I've been like incredibly obsessed with Mikara Tours recently. Like I watched her for a while, but I've never subscribed. I'm one of those people who watch a channel's binge watch a channel's content, don't subscribe, and then come back like months later or a year later and then subscribe. So I've been like really obsessed with Mikara Tours recently. I've binge watched her content so much, and I really am trying to get into sewing. Since I was little, I've been taught to sew because I'm a woman in Mexico, so you're expected to know a lot of household things. Like, if you're a functional human being, this is what I personally believe, but if you're a functional human being, you are supposed to know how to fix and how to attach a button to a shirt. People use button-up shirts all the time. You can't expect like your sister or your mother or your spouse, like you can't expect a woman to sew because you're gonna need it. No, like men have to learn how to sew as well. And this is like something, this is generalizing, of course, because there are a lot of men who know how to sew. There are a lot of designers out there who are men. But think about it, like how many, like in your everyday life, how many men do you see who sew or who alter clothes? None, right? So yeah, that's just like a little side rant, but I do want to learn to alter clothes by myself, because like there are a couple things in here that I'd love to alter by myself, that I'd like to buy like a sewing machine. That doesn't mean that I will make garments, although like at a point in my life I do want to start making pants or shirts or a sundress or something to fit me perfectly. I want to create a big wardrobe on thrifted clothing, because a lot of my wardrobe right now, like 50% of my wardrobe is things that I have had since I was like 12, and my other half is things that I have thrifted myself. So I really want to build on a style, because I don't have a set style. Like I don't even have a style. I wear a lot of black, and I wear a lot of t-shirts, and I wear a lot of jackets, but I don't have a style. Next thing, I want to make more friends. So yeah, my 9th New Year's resolution is to make more friends, and this has to do with the fact that I am a hermit. So I do want to make more friends. I want to make more connections to make sure that I can give out to my community, and so that I can ask for favors if I need them. This is a very self-explanatory thing, because I just want to be able to make friends, and if I can't make friends, then that's going to be very bad for me in the long run. Like I do want to be able to talk to people and to make sure that they can ask me for anything, and that maybe I'll decline, maybe I'll say yes, but I want to make sure that people can trust me, and just the fact that I have to have more social interaction. My 10th New Year's resolution is to read more YA, more contemporary, and more fiction, like more modern fiction, because I'm currently really invested in the classics, and I feel like I'm getting stuck. During the holidays, I read a couple of these. I read a lot more graphic novels. I've also been kind of reading some middle grade. I really want to read Entwined by Heather Dixon, and I just feel like I have to find a balance between reading what is actually coming out like in this decade and what has happened already. I have to find that kind of balance, because there's been a while where I've been reading exclusively classics this year. Romance is a lot more whimsical. Modern day fantasy is a lot more whimsical and just easier to digest than classics that sometimes they're called classics because they have a lot of layers onto them. So some layers that you have to rip out by yourself and figure them out and just research. And sometimes you can just enjoy the story like you would enjoy a contemporary. So I need to find a balance in what the content that I am choosing to consume and the content that I am choosing to read. Like in movies that I have watched, Ted, for example, which is not a movie that requires a lot of brain power to process. And I've also watched movies like Jennifer's Body, which require for you to have a deeper understanding, and they are very enjoyable, and at the same time have an underneath a very buried message. Then I want to listen to more music, to listen to new music. I want to discover a lot more artists than I did last year. I feel like it's something that we all must do. There are a lot of people who want to build their audience and who want to make a new break in the music industry. So I feel like just being a supporter or being a listener and just following their Instagram account or following their YouTube account would help, and I really want to expand into new kinds of music. And my last one is to actually be mindful and take care of myself and be more mindful with the decisions that I do. Always make sure that I am benefiting myself first, and then benefiting the people around me. And if I have the chance, sometimes I have to be selfish, because there are not enough times that I think about myself. I feel like this is something that I've been growing for the past few months, since probably September or October. It's something that I've been growing on ever since my parents gave me the opportunity to study the way that I wanted to study. Always be mindful of what makes me happy, because I'm the one living my own life. So I really want to be mindful of like my influences. I want to be mindful of my New Year's resolutions while I am trying to achieve them. I want to be mindful of how I'm studying, be mindful of how reading helps me be a little more of an expanded person. Just be mindful of everything I do, even if it's just like a small small reflection. I don't have to think very, very deeply about everything I do. It's just like reflect upon, like, if I go for ice cream, I'm not going to just be very deep about the ice cream. I'm just going to be mindful of eating ice cream makes me happy. So yeah, you have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching this. It was this is a video I'm gonna refer back to a lot because yeah, it's my New Year's resolutions. This is my paper. Yeah. I think I'm gonna paste it somewhere in here. I think I'm gonna paste it like over there in my wall, because I do have to remind myself every single day of this. I really want to fall into a routine as well. I want to start my routine on like adding some exercise to my routine, adding some reading to my daily routine, adding drinking water continuously to my routine, and also just like a little bit of learning. Squeeze like an hour of learning even if I don't have anything specific to learn. So yeah, that's my my ultimate New Year's resolution, is to learn every single day. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, just tell me what your New Year's resolutions are down below. And yeah, I'd like to talk to some people and just start making new friends on the internet as well, because I don't think I have many internet friends. I don't have any internet friends. I used to have internet friends when I was on Quotab, but I kind of stopped writing for a while, and I went to roleplay for there to like write and stuff. So I don't have any internet friends anymore. I kind of disconnected from them. So yeah, thank you so much either way, and I'll see you in the next video, which I think I'm going to release my loveeee book review. So yeah.